Hey guys, talking to you the morning after the US election. It looks like Donald Trump has won. Excuse my voice if I sound a bit hoarse. I've been up since very early or very late, depending which way you look at it, keeping track. And usually with these videos, I want to go over the previous month and look at what happened in the markets and look forward to what the previous month can tell us about the future. But in this case, I think the most important thing is to talk about the US election, the build up to the US election, what the markets are doing in the build up, what happened overnight with the US election, and what Donald Trump victory means now going forward for the markets, and maybe get some ideas both in the short term and in the long term about what we can expect. So maybe for a Trump presidency in the longer term, but then also more prosaically just over the next few days and few weeks for the markets. So to start off with, in the build-up to the elections, it was quite clear that most pollsters believed that it was very evenly poised, that both Harris and Trump had a very good chance of winning. Trump's policies are an interesting mix, actually. He has spoken previously, and the people around him have spoken previously, about the desire for a weaker dollar. This is to help the US with trade. But on the contrary, it looks like his policies coming in are going to be inflationary for the United States. And as a result, we can expect a stronger dollar. This fed into the markets overnight as it became clear that Trump was going to win the election. We saw US dollar gain strongly, both in the DXY and then against the Euro USD. We saw fell down to about the 107 mark. We saw particularly as well, and notably, that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies gained very strongly. And this is due to a belief, probably a realistic belief, that Trump is going to look at curtailing regulation on cryptocurrencies going forward. And it's something that's very much been a hallmark of the Biden administration. The SEC's outlook on crypto over the last couple of years has been very much a regulatory heavy environment, and that will probably all disappear under Trump, or at least be very much minimized. So I think Bitcoin hit a record high up near around 75,000. As I said, we saw the Euro USD fall, and we also saw the DXY, the USD, against a basket of currencies gain very strongly. And this is all linked back into this idea that Trump's policies for the United States, which are, tariffs to the point of maybe causing trade wars, and are going to be very inflationary for the United States, which will probably lead to a high interest rate environment, therefore leading to a stronger dollar. So we saw a lot of the money moves overnight as it became clear that Trump was going to win, and that's still feeding into the markets this morning. But now that the election is over, I think for traders, the moment has passed. And unless you're a long-term positional trader, there's not really much more you can do worrying about Trump because he's not actually going to be president until the new year. And any of these policies that we've been discussing won't actually come to pass until next year. What we need to think about as well with this is the so-called red sweep. Now, the United States political system is obviously there's presidency, and then there's the Senate, and then there's Congress. And it's very difficult for a president to do much unless his party controls both the Senate and the Congress. What's become clear is that Trump will be president. It's also become clear that the Republicans will control the Senate. What is not clear is who is going to control the House of Congress, the House of Representatives. And this is important because if the Democrats win the House of Representatives, the lower house of Congress, then Trump will find a lot of his policies very hard to push through, which may mean that if we see a Democratic win over the next couple of days in Congress, that we could see a lot of unwinding of these positions that are based around Trump's policies. So that's the first thing we need to be aware of. The second thing we need to be aware of is that tomorrow is the Federal Open Market Committee's meeting to decide interest rates for the United States. It's not great timing. I'm sure they would have preferred not to do it directly in the wake of the election, but luckily for them, it's pretty much nailed on. They're going to cut interest rates by 25 basis points. So this in itself isn't very interesting. But what is interesting is a setup looking towards December. There's a December meeting on the 18th of December of the FOMC, and that's still quite evenly poised. There's future traders currently saying that there's about 30% chance that that rates will be kept on hold, and about a 70% chance they'll cut by a further 25 basis points. But this also will tie in quite closely to an ECB rate decision also in December, which is also very evenly poised. Nobody's really sure whether the Eurozone is going to cut interest rates. So this is what we're going to be looking to now. What's once we move away from the elections, and what's going to govern the next few weeks in trading. So in a nutshell, yes, the election is very exciting. There's a lot of sound and fury. A lot of the big institutional traders, and I hope some of you listening as well, made a lot of money off the back of the Trump trade. But I fully expect now a rebound in a lot of these positions as we return back to a more normal cycle where we're looking at interest rates and inflation. And the one real outlier here might be the gold market, where which also it fell as a result of Trump winning the election overnight. But I think we will see a return to gold prices going back up again, but not to the same extent as we have seen previously. As I'd written about in previous weeks, I think there's probably the gold trade is probably this gold bull run that we've seen is probably coming to a close shortly, and that's a number of factors. I think if we look at speculation and the CFTC figures, then I think we're beginning to see a bit of a bubble with gold prices. So I don't necessarily think we're going to see gold returning to the same levels that we may have seen before, but I imagine Bitcoin's going to come back down. Euro USD is probably the euro is going to rebound, and I think we'll see stocks probably lose some of the gains they made overnight. So election, there was a lot of big moves, but and there will be obviously much bigger moves once Trump comes into power. We will be looking at a stronger dollar if he is able to enact the policies that he wants. We will probably be looking in the short term a stronger stock market, and certainly if he deregulates the cryptocurrency environment, we will be looking at high prices for cryptocurrencies. And but for the time being, I think it's a bit of a return to normal. Inflation, interest rates. Keep an eye on interest rate decisions from tomorrow. The Fed will be really interesting to see what the Fed's long-term guidance is. We're looking for any notes from Jay Powell post decision, what his thoughts are on the December rate cut. And I think that's probably what's going to be driving markets over the next few weeks. Once again, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. If you have any questions, send them through to us here at FX Scouts. You can reach us anywhere on social media, on Twitter and LinkedIn, Facebook, etc. And thanks so much.